Yo, what's going on, guys? Estee McCrawly coming to another video. Today we got some more battles with the Mega Tyranitar team, the double team, and this will be the last video I make with this. Well, I should maybe not necessarily the last, but these will be the last battles with the team. I'm going to be retiring it, making a new one. It's been a lot of fun, to be honest. It's a really strong Pokemon. It's got good coverage as well with Rock Slide, which is really powerful double move. So he gets stab access to Rock Slide, and his base attack is pretty high, so you still get decent damage off. His base stats are like base 700, which is incredibly high. I think that's like Lugia. It's higher than Lugia's base stats. Or Lugia has 700 base stats. So I think he actually has 680. I'm not sure. And then he gets access to the sand, which will break a lot of focus sashes, and then it also increases his special defense by 50%. I mean, it's just crazy how good of a Pokemon Tyranitar is. So it's been a lot of fun. Kind of gave me some nostalgia from Generation 2, like when it first came out. Generation 2, Generation 3, original Ruby and Sapphire, when Tyranitar was just so strong. So we're just going to get into the first battle. My opponent had a team of Charizard, Venusaur, Landorus T, Thundurus Incarnate, Cresselia, and Rhyperior. So some Pokemon we don't see too much. The Venusaur I've been seeing an okay amount, and also the Rhyperior I've only seen like once or twice on the battle spot. Pretty strong Pokemon. I'm not sure why he has it on this team. We didn't get to see it, so I guess it could be for certain teams and stuff. It could be a tech Pokemon that he's got for something else. So looking here, there is the possibility of a weather team of Sun. He could bring out the Sun, then have his Venusaur could have Chlorophyll, or it could be regular Charizard. It could be Mega Charizard X. We don't know. So I feel like there's no need to bring Talonflame or Amoonguss here. Amoonguss would only be good against the Rhyperior, but so is Rotom. And then Talonflame would only be good against the Venusaur. But I've already got plenty of ways to check that. So I've been seeing this lead a lot when people have Landorus and Thundurus on their team. This is almost what they always lead against not just this team, but against past teams as well. I don't think it's too good of a lead. I mean, it does give you the Intimidate, but still. So I protect here. I'm just going straight up for the Will-O-Wisp onto Landorus, and he goes for the Swagger. So actually, I lied. I'm not going for the Will-O-Wisp, but he goes for the Swagger, which kind of shows that he doesn't have Taunt. Usually, you carry Swagger or Taunt. You usually don't carry both. And if he did have Taunt, he probably would have gone for it. So I do go for the Will-O-Wisp here, and it connects. Thank goodness. So that's really gonna render this Landorus T useless. So it's gonna slowly chip away. So here we see he goes first, meaning that he has Scarf, so he's locked into Rock Slide right now. You see it does nothing to my Cresselia. And he goes for Thunderbolt onto my Rotom, so I found that interesting. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I go for Safeguard here because I was expecting him to go for a Swagger onto Cresselia, but also if I switch in something, I don't want it to get confused or paralyzed. So now that's pretty much a free switch in right here. I go into Tyranitar because he's locked into Rock Slide, so I'm not going to take any damage from it, especially since he's burned. And so here we see the Rock Slide, not going to do anything. And he has a crit. You see, it does nothing. So here he goes for the T-Bolt. So he really wanted to take out that Rotom. So that's why I switched it out. I was like, I wonder why he's focusing it so hard. I mean, it is Rotom, but a lot of people focus down the Cresselia because they fear the Trick Room and stuff. So I'm like, that might be because he has Charizard in the back, or the Rhyperior. It could be in the back. So that Icy Wind there is going to be pretty. It's going to be nice. It did over half damage to Lander, so one more will knock it out. And I'm going to go for the Mega Evolution here. Beef up my stats a little bit. So here I had a few options of what I could do against my opponent. So here he goes for Swagger. So unfortunate for my opponent. I hope he learns from this. He's going to sharply increase my special attack, but I'm not going to get confused. So it's a nice. I'm at +2 right now. So he gets the flinch with Cresselia, and the Tyranitar, so actually it's a double flinch. And up to this point, he hasn't even missed a Rock Slide. With my luck, I would have already missed 2 by this point. So a little bit of luck going my opponent's way. Not that big of a deal. I mean, he's burned, so he's going for another Rock Slide. Just hoping for those flinches. I guess he kind of realized that since his Landorus got burned, there's not really anything it can do. So luckily I connect with both my Rock Slides. Thanks to the Icy Wind, I do outspeed Thundurus. That's one thing I really like about Tyranitar. It's not that slow. So you can just, like, if you can get an Icy Wind off against a Pokemon that one stage lower, that 1/3 drop in speed is pretty much enough to let Tyranitar outspeed. So we're going to see the last Pokemon we have are Venusaur and Charizard. So I'm in an interesting position here. I switch out. I'm predicting a Mega Evolution into, and then once I bring back in Tyranitar, it's pretty much the sun's not going to be up anymore. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. So you're going to see it as Mega Charizard Y. So here he's got quite a few options. We could see like a Heat Wave, Solar Beam. We could see a whole bunch of things. But he ends up going for Protect with Venusaur, which really surprised me there. There was no reason. Like the Charizard I could understand because of a Rock Slide, but I don't see why he protected with Venusaur there. So I switch out Cresselia here because I'm expecting him to go for a Solar Beam or a Giga Drain or something into the Rotom slot, so I don't want to switch in Tyranitar into that and take that damage because it'd also be super effective against me. So we do see Grass Pledge. I'm like, oh, are we going to see, is he going to go for Fire Pledge? Are we going to see Pledge moves here? So he knocks out Rotom. I was getting excited. I'm like, dude, we're going to see Fire Pledge. But he just has Flamethrower. I was like, aw, come on, man. Come on. Because if I'm not mistaken, in this instance, Fire Pledge would have done more damage because Grass Pledge was used. So if I remember correctly, that would have Fire Pledge's damage would have actually been doubled. Don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. And then he'd set up like on my side of the field some like marsh thing, whatever, or some sort of fire, and I'd take damage at the end of every turn. It would have been awesome. When I saw that Grass Pledge, I got excited, man. But so here I set up Safeguard. I was kind of fearing a potential Sleep Powder from this Venusaur, so that's what they run a lot of times. But he just goes straight up offense, which is understandable. I mean, he obviously wants to get rid of the Tyranitar. I just set up I'm just trying to set up the thing because in the back I have my Excadrill, which in the sand is going to be able to outspeed and destroy. So I protect here. I don't know if the protect was a good idea. I remember thinking that because the thing I wanted to get the Icy Wind off to slow his Pokemon down so I could outspeed. But then I was like, well, I want Excadrill to come out when there's still sand. So I don't want to like protect and stall it out too much to where Excadrill comes in when the sand's not up. But then after that Icy Wind, I was like, well, actually, it's not even going to matter. I'm going to outspeed anyways. So Venusaur is going down next turn, and one rock type move is going to knock out this Charizard. So he ends up going for Protect with Charizard. So and I go for Rock Slide just because I know I outspeed now. I was thinking about going for the double Protect on my side just to get the free knockout on Venusaur. But then I was like, well, there's no point. I want to get this game moving while I still have sand up. So you actually see it. My Cresselia outspeeds this Charizard right now because I got buffeted by the sand first. So Rock Slide's coming up. I connect. That's going to be more than enough to take out this Charizard. And that's going to be game. So Excadrill didn't even have to touch the field in this one. I felt like I had a pretty good matchup against, like if you look at the 4 Pokemon my opponent brought, I had a pretty good matchup. Just with Cresselia and Tyranitar. Cresselia could hit Venusaur for a super effective stab with Psychic and super effective, or 4 times effective Icy Wind on the Landorus and 2 times effective on the Thundurus. And then Tyranitar with the Rock Slide hitting the Charizard and the Thundurus. So I just felt like I had a good matchup there. That's why Excadrill didn't really even have to hit the field. It would have been, if he brought the Rhyperior or the Cresselia, Excadrill would have been a lot. Well, Tyranitar would have been good for the Cresselia, obviously, but so would have Excadrill because it's just really strong. So, and then with the Rhyperior, I had a whole bunch of things that could have hit it for super effective damage, namely Earthquake from the Excadrill. I don't know if it would have one-shot since its HP is so high, and it might have had the ability Solid Rock, which decreases super effective damage by 25%, I believe. So I just had a good matchup in that one. I played it pretty well. I got that burn on Landers at the beginning of the game really set the tone. There wasn't much that he could do to recover off that. So when you get into the second battle, Julius had a team of Mamoswine, Venusaur, Charizard, Terrakion, Sableye, and Rotom Wash. So here we see again the Charizard, Venusaur, which I guess is becoming more popular. I guess if you, and the thing I might, now that I like, ever since that last battle, I was like, oh, he had Grass Pledge on the Venusaur, so that might be something I try, like another Mega Charizard Y team or something of the sort, and then have like Fire Pledge with Charizard and then Grass Pledge with Venusaur with the Chlorophyll. It'd be something interesting, something I might look into in the future. But Charizard or Tyranitar here isn't as effective as in other matchups. I only hit the Mamoswine and Charizard for super effective stab with the Rock Slide. The Terrakion we gotta be careful of because if I crunch and he switches in, but there's not really a reason for me to crunch, but if I did crunch and he switches in the Terrakion, he's gonna get the Defiant boost. Talonflame still isn't really, like, I was considering it, but because he has Mamoswine, but it has Thick Fat, he has Venusaur and the Sableye. But I thought that the Amoonguss here would be a better option because with the Sableye, he's probably going to be carrying Will-O-Wisp. And the Amoonguss will be good here for redirection and also to take care of that Rotom. And if he has possible Sweet Powder with the Venusaur, I'll be immune to it. So, but at the same time, his Venusaur could be immune to me. So, it kind of both ways. So he leads Charizard, Venusaur. And I lead Tyranitar Cresselia, which is I probably led like 80% of my games with this lead. This is a really powerful lead because it allows me to Mega Evolve, get off an Icy Wind, and then I can outspeed and start hitting him for really strong damage. So he actually Mega Evolves first here because he's faster, which is absolutely fine with me. So we do see it as Mega Charizard Y. And he's going to bring up the Sun temporarily. I also Mega Evolve here. So that's one of the better things. Like a lot of times when people build weather teams, some people make them fast, others make them slow because in a mirror match, like if my Tyranitar is the lowest speed possible, it would underspeed Politoed as well. So that if he puts in if he starts out with Politoed and I start with Tyranitar, the rain's gonna go up and then the sand's gonna go off. But since I'm Mega, I don't really care too much about that. So he's actually going to go straight up for the Sleep Powder. I went for Safeguard there because I was expecting him to actually go for a Sleep Powder into Tyranitar or a Giga Drain. So it kind of caught me off guard that he went. I guess he kind of feared the Cresselia. That's probably why he led it, fearing like a Trick Room or something. So he connects, which is fine. So now he's going to switch out Charizard, fearing the Rock Slide. So he's going to bring in Terrakion, which is a good switch, especially against my Tyranitar. And we're going to see a Giga Drain here into Cresselia. So here I was like, okay, so why doesn't he want my Cresselia around? That's one of the things you have to think. Like, why is your Pokemon... Like, I think that Tyranitar would be the bigger threat here. So, but it's always up to my opponent. He probably was like, oh, it could have been because he switched in Terrakion. We'll never know because we're not going to ask him. But Venusaur's already getting low here, which is really nice. I go for Protect, fearing a close combat or a double kick or something from the Terrakion. And we actually see a taunt from the Terrakion. And I was like, wow, I've never seen a taunt on Terrakion before. So we do see Sleep Powder go out in the Tyranitar, and I still stay asleep. This is either the second or third turn. I just been asleep this whole time. First, I wanted to take a snooze. It's been a while since it's been put to sleep. So I switch up my Tyranitar here. I'm predicting a Sleep Powder again, so that's why I bring in the Amoonguss. So that will be I'm immune to Powder type moves. So we do see the Rock Slide from Terrakion. It's going to be a powerful stab type move. So we do see the Sleep Powder into Amoonguss, and here Cresselia is going to wake up. So I get a Psychic off on the Terrakion. I was deciding which one I wanted to do to attack, but I was like, well, if I just bring in my Amoonguss here, Venusaur's not really going to be that relevant, especially since it's being taken down to sand. And the Terrakion poses more of a threat, especially my Tyranitar. So that's what I decided to do. I thought maybe I'd be able to finish it off, but still hangs on with a little bit. So he's going to pop my Citrus on Amoonguss with another Rock Slide. I'm just hoping here I don't flinch. He hasn't missed up to this point. I always like to point that out. And the Giga Drain's not going to knock out Cresselia. I was actually expecting him to go for Sweet Powder, but luckily I survived. But he gets the flinch. And he actually gets a double flinch, just like in the last battle. I don't think I've ever gotten a double flinch before. So congrats to my opponent. I wanted to get the safeguard up so I could safely bring in my Tyranitar and what's it called, Excadrill. But so here I go for Giga Drain. I was expecting the taunt onto Amoonguss, and I was like, well, the thing, like, the Spore here wouldn't be that good because if I can knock out the Terrakion, there's no point in sporing. It's just delaying the inevitable. Unless if I don't want to give him a free switch, but nothing was really going to happen at that point. So I'd say sort of a misplay from my opponent. I mean, I guess there wasn't much that he could have done to me offensively anyways, but there was not really any point for me to spore his Terrakion when I could have just knocked it out. So just like here, he goes for the Sweet Powder into Cresselia. Like, the only reason you should ever do that is if you're predicting a switch. So especially right there, he goes for Heat Wave. So it's like, well, you should have just gone for something else. So I don't know, just a little bit of that. Like, you could kind of see the difference why I didn't go for a sweep move and I was able to pick up the knockout, and he went for the sweep move and missed out on a potential knockout. So I bring an Excadrill here. At this point, this game's pretty getting close to being over. I got my 2 offensive Pokemon here, and he goes for the switch and the Protect. A decent play. I mean, if he went for, or I didn't go for Rock Slide there because I didn't want to risk a miss onto Venusaur and him get off like a Giga Drain or something. So that's why I went for the Iron Head. So I got some free chip damage onto Rotom, but unfortunately I'm locked in the Iron Head. So my opponent doesn't know that I'm Scarfed, especially since he's got the Rotom washout. He could think, oh, I'm just scared of a potential burn or Hydro Pump. But here, I guess he kind of makes a risky play. We could say, like, he's kind of at the point where it's like do or die for him. So he goes for Protect and switches in the Mega Charizard again, and I just go for Rock Slide because there wasn't a point to Protect right there since the sand was up and I knew Hydro Pump couldn't knock me out, but he gets a lucky miss. So, I mean, it was a good do or die play, but I just go for the Rage Powder here. I get it lucky with a miss on the Heat Wave, but I mean, it makes up for the miss from the Rock Slide. And the Hydro Pump's going to go into the Amoonguss. Is not going to do anything since the sun's up. I don't even think, even if the sun, or even if I didn't go for Rage Powder, I don't think it would have knocked me out since the sun's up. So it does 50% less. But Rock Slide's going to connect with Charizard this time, so it's going to be a knockout. And that pretty much seals this one up. So he's going to bring back in the Venusaur, his last Pokemon. But we're still in a sticky situation since he can finish off he has super effective stab for my Tyranitar. So I switch an Excadrill here just because, and you might say, oh, well, why'd you do that? Why would you just switch in your Excadrill? But the thing is I want the sand up. With the sand up, the game's pretty much guaranteed victory. So I don't really care about Excadrill because I can just Protect and finish off the Venusaur, and then this Rotom has Life Orb, so it's going to knock itself out to Life Orb damage. So I bring in Tyranitar, and that is pretty much going to seal this one up because they're going to faint to sand damage. So my opponent forfeits right there. So that last one was pretty intense right there. A lot of reads, not a lot of, but towards the end there we got some luck. My opponent's Charizard dodged the Rock Slide. He hit all of his Rock Slides. He got like a double flinch. I didn't get any flinches with mine. And my opponent gets an avoid. But Amoonguss coming through right there with the Rage Powder. Luckily, he didn't have Venusaur out on the field because Grass-type Pokemon are immune to Rage Powder, to any sort of powder moves, including Spore. So it's a good note to end on with Mega Tyranitar. I have no complaints at all. I might bring him back sometime in the future, or just maybe in regular Tyranitar, just because he's good. It's like his base stats are already so high that he gets like an invisible base stat or special defense boost when the sandstorm's up. So really strong Pokemon overall. I hope you guys enjoyed these battles of Mega Tyranitar. Definitely, I'd probably say this about all of them. All the Mega Evolutions are a lot of fun. I'm glad that they made them. Kind of changes things up a little bit because it just gives you a stronger Pokemon to work with. You can make you or build a team around that Pokemon or towards that Pokemon's strengths and make up for its weaknesses. So that's pretty much going to be it. I will say I'll be making some new teams, singles and doubles. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys got any suggestions for me, go ahead and let me know. If you want to battle me, also go ahead and let me know. Whatever format, if you guys want to battle, go ahead and let me know. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.